Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the Marion Township Workshop meeting for Thursday, April 23rd, 2026 to order. Time is now 7:01 p.m. First item, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. Watch everyone to please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, it's much better without the little bit of lag between here and the other side of Teams. Anyone wishing to make public comment can do so by coming up to the front of the room so that we can clearly hear your comment on the camera. With that said, the meetings, as always, are recorded for audio and video. I think the first person that we have here is Al. You have a comment, Al? Welcome back, Al. It's good to see you.
Thanks. My name is Albert Ferrandino, 55 Main Street, Stocksburg. I got a couple of things I want to bring up.
Yeah.
On 4th of July.
Yeah.
You know, these people here putting fireworks up, you know, and last year I thought for sure Marion's house was going to go up.
Yeah.
So if they want to have fireworks, let them go up here to the park.
Have any way of making fireworks expressly illegal or not able to be set off. The only thing would be the big ones, or if people are drinking in conjunction with the fireworks. There are laws against that, but we
don't know if they're drinking or what's going on. But last year I was worried because they were big ones.
Yeah. So if they're really big, definitely call the police. There are laws at the state level for that, but because we checked with Colin, that is not something that we can restrict by ordinance because of other superseding laws.
But the park is closed at night. There's hours.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, the park is closed at dusk. The only thing that we could do would be, if we wanted to do that, would say that, there's an exception to that you can set things off at the park. But then, quite honestly, that sort of opens us up to.
There's a building there that's not insured.
Yeah, as in say stuff getting accidentally lit on fire, or exploded, or the grass catching fire, or whatever. But if it's big ones, like if people are setting off mortars, call the police.
I don't want to be the asshole that down all the time.
No, there's a fine line there, and I think you're squarely on the side of right if somebody's setting off like professional grade fireworks in the street.
The next one is the bar.
Yeah. We are wildly aware of the bar and doing what we can to try to address it.
Pass an ordinance after 10 o'clock.
Well, that's the noise ordinance. There's already a noise ordinance.
So here's the issue again.
Yeah.
Like I was explaining to you at the baseball court, I need people to call 911 and get it on record.
Yeah.
I have nothing on record right now. Nobody's calling in. So until nobody calls in, I can't do anything because I was the only one complaining. I can't be the only one complaining.
No, I understand that. But I mean, we should look into
believe me, there is some things.
We have an ordinance in place that they're not allowed to make loud, like a ruckus after 10 p.m. So if that's happening,
and the Hoboken police are supposed to enforce our ordinances.
Correct. State police, not so much, but
Hoboken. Yep.
Now it comes a time where everybody cuts grass.
Yep.
And blow the grass on the street or in the alley. There should be an ordinance that they cannot be doing that.
There is actually.
How come they're doing it?
Well, because people take the lazy way out. If you see it, call in and we'll send somebody out, whether it's Kraft or the police.
I'll do that because
it's a motor vehicle code.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, John. I was gonna say, I know we have something on the books about it, and you're right. I think that's whatever, pub 6 or pub 7 or whatever.
Finds a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Those people are getting cited.
Yeah. So call it in if you see it. There are some in place already.
We need speed bumps real bad in this town here.
Yeah.
Last week it was a kid on a bicycle and somebody came down from Hoover's. He wasn't doing 25. I guarantee you. If he wasn't doing 70, I eat the goddamn tires.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
and the kid almost got hit on the bicycle.
One of the things that we had open that we need to look at a little further was, it's not speed bumps, they're speed tables is what they call them. They're broader, lower speed bumps that have the same effect of slowing you down if you're going really fast, but don't do the horrible things it plows.
If you want a good
So-
example of that, Bethany's Children's
Yeah.
Home, if you're by that, the back road there, what road is it, do you know? Like
Ryland, Ryland,
Right? Yeah,
Ryland Road, that's what we were looking into putting in, but when me and Peter talked about it last year, that we were told by our current engineer, which we could bring this. by
we
our
should
new
revisit it
engineer,
with Ryan.
He basically said our roads were in too bad a condition to do that with on Main Street.
Well,
Well, it's in better shape.
Yeah, it's in better shape.
can be,
than
something put in there that, come winter time when you plow the street, you can remove them for the winter
Well,
and then put them
the
back.
speed tables, they're so gradual, you can plow them.
yeah, you can plow without it destroying the truck or
Right,
destroying
but-
speed.
But we have a new engineer now and we should
Yeah.
run that by our engineer.
There are
Good.
there are temporary ones. There are ones that like in really fancy areas that speed bumps will actually raise if you're going a certain speed and lower if you're not. We don't have that kind of money, but there are options. But we have entertained a number of them, but simple straight out speed bumps were not a fit. They would have been way more headaches than
Yeah,
than
because,
diesel.
I mean, there's more trucks coming through town
Well, that
than is in 422.
that is one of the things that we had floated the idea around it, potentially doing a traffic study, was limiting Main Street to class 2 traffic.
Well,
But that's something that we need to look at further, and ideally, if we can, go the route of putting something like a speed table in to discourage traffic rather than restricting it by ordinance, because as you know, if you have an ordinance, you have to enforce it, otherwise.
that's why we have a cop, right?
I'm just saying, it's the same thing with the fireworks and the grass clippings, unless you're actively enforcing it, people are just gonna do
We
it.
can't wait till something happens
I know.
and then we're
No, I
gonna
know.
do it.
I know,
If,
I'm not arguing that point, I'm
if a
just
kid
saying,
gets killed
we have
in a
to.
bike because these jerks, they're
Yeah.
going at 60, 70 miles an hour.
I want to go after the speed tables more than I want to go after the restricting traffic, because that is always going to be there. You don't have to rely on a cop being there to see it.
Yeah, because the cop can only be one place at a time. I
Exactly.
mean, they are not magicians.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's been motorcycles going 55.
Oh, yeah.
65
People
down
scream
Main.
Well,
down.
you had one pulled over the other day
There's
up in
been-
Marion.
There's been, tractors doing at least 35, 40 down Main Street, pulling a full load, these new fancy tractors with the high gear. There's been Jake breaks going through town, just slow down. It has been bad. I see it all the time.
That would be one that we wouldn't need a traffic study for, that we could put like no brake retarders within
Mhm.
city, like the
Well,
town limits.
I'll tell you what, though, he almost needed to use a brake retarder because
Yeah.
he was flying that fast. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I mean, it might discourage people from flying that fast, knowing that they can't,
right.
theoretically knowing that they can't use it. And unlike speeding, that's an audio thing. You can hear if it's doing it, and you can cite off that if you're a police officer.
Right.
So,
so that's a pothole bin.
yeah, the potholes were slowing people down. So yeah, the speed bumps is on our radar. We have to revisit that with the engineer, but it's
Yeah, because
not
man,
as-
some kid gets killed, you
Yeah.
know,
No, it's
geez.
the same thing with the alleys. Like the line of sight on the alleys is terrible. And we got to figure out some way of discouraging people from just, blasting out of the alleys, whether it's kids on bicycles or people in cars.
The kids are kids.
Kids are kids, but you still got to make the attempt.
Yeah.
We get it.
So slow everybody down. And how'd you make out with the camera, by the way?
Oh, we
Catch anybody?
didn't get anybody on the camera, but we did get I think a few pieces of wildlife.
Besides that.
No, we
Yeah,
unfortunately,
guys,
maybe somebody took the point. But we appreciate you lending it to us, because if we didn't put it up, then people would have dumped, I'm sure.
Well, it probably needs new batteries by now.
Yeah, it's something we check periodically. So when it needs new batteries, we'll switch them out.
Okay, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Lisa, can you
good
put on
point.
the,
Appreciate that.
can you put on the agenda to relook at that with the new
That's-
engineer,
yeah,
the
speed table
speed
for
table?
Brian.
Yep, I have it down. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Discharge within 150 feet of an occupied structure. Any fireworks at any time without permission of anybody within that zone. So if your neighbor doesn't want it, legally, there's no way you can.
Is that a state rule already, or that would be an ordinance? Okay, so it is a state rule. Okay.
Which me just looking this one up was local ordinances can be done to restrict use between 10 PM and 10 AM, except on 4th of July and New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And they're allowed until 1 AM.
Yeah.
Otherwise, And it's a $500 and $1,000 fine on your first one.
So the takeaway on that, Al, is if people are setting fireworks off and it's too close, like it's within, was that 50 feet or 150 feet? 150 feet of an occupied, yeah, then if,
I don't think Al's gonna give anybody.
yeah, I was gonna say, if they're near your house, if they're within 150 feet, then you know they definitely don't have, they don't have the ground to stand on. in terms
I
of-
know it is not.
Yeah.
50 feet from Marianne's house.
Yeah. So call it into the police. They're probably gonna have their hands full with everybody calling stuff like that in, but that's the avenue to get that dealt with.
Please, with bar issues or any issues with the hotel, please call 911 so it's on dispatch's record
Yes.
and it's on our cops record. That's
We
what I need.
We need to be able to build.
I've been
Okay.
begging for that for the last 3 years and no one called.
I mean, the bar,
Yeah.
Yes.
you don't know what kind of music they're playing.
You're just getting the bass over your house.
Somebody's dead, probably was shot it off. What do you?
There's still a burn ban yet?
Burn ban's not in effect anymore. No. Okay, so we're gonna go through the announcements real quick so we can let this nice gentleman get out of here because he has an appointment. Yeah, he's the only name on there. Since we don't have to worry about any, we're not gonna action anything tonight with spending money. I'm gonna move the playground maintenance and equipment up before I do all the announcements. That way we're respectful to your time.
Thank you so much. Would you like me up here?
Oh, yeah, closer to the mic works better for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially for me when I'm doing the minutes.
Very good. Thank you, everybody. My name is Ryan Narr. And Kelly got me here, so I really appreciate Kelly and myself connecting. I also teach at Weiser, so Kelly and I were able to have a lot of good, positive conversation, looking at your recreation area and the different things that you're looking to do. And one of them is a racket sports area that I had spoken with Kelly. In addition, I'm the president locally of the Connor Weiser Tennis Association. We're a 501c3 that grows and promotes the sport of tennis in the Connor Weiser community and beyond. We have over 90 students that play tennis year-round, grades K to 12 in the Conrad Weiser School District, and another 35 families that play, parents, kids, whatnot. So there's a lot of interest, and that is obviously reflected on the success of our high school programs, but also as one of 14 premier tennis providers in the state of Pennsylvania. I also am the president of the United States Tennis Association Middle States Board, which governs Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and West Virginia, 1.4 million tennis players. So it's a great opportunity for me as a native of Conrad Weiser and here to be able to go out to our townships and municipalities and work together to cultivate and enrich opportunities that are going to build great opportunities recreationally and also cultivate opportunities to fill spaces that obviously aren't always filled. Before we get into the actual racket sports area with tennis and pickleball, the other thing is this is active throughout our area. Obviously, we have our main courts at Connor Weiser Tennis Facility. That was named the 2023 National Educational Tennis Facility of the Year by USTA at the US Open. I'm currently working, Wernersville just got a DCNR grant for $62,000. Their polls were just set yesterday, and in 2 weeks, they're going to be getting their courts put in right behind Lamb and Whitman, right there. I'm also going to be working with South Heidelberg. I have a call tomorrow actually with Sean McKee now that it's spring to work with their project with DCNR, as well as the South Heidelberg courts up near their township building. So, there's an active thought here of trying to enrich people's opportunity with the appetite for racket sports. The other part of that is pickleball. And pickleball is a huge growing sport for masses, especially for more of the senior population. I'm very familiar with that. I'm also the director of racket sports at the YMCA. So we govern everybody in the western part of the county when it comes to racket sports, tennis and pickleball there. And there's such an appetite for that. Now, how do you mesh both of these together and make them organic where you can have your cake and eat it too, right? Where there's a demand for both. It can be a shared area, but most importantly, where the area can then be populated and used most effectively. So in looking at that, the best way to do this, and something I drew up with Kelly, in your current area, you have the two courts kind of standard next to each other, the rundown tennis court, and then you have the other one, which is formerly a deck hockey or multi-purpose area court, right? what was done and the best way to utilize it, and this is what is happening in Heidelberg that they're looking at the why we did it on an indoor court, instead of putting down just a two-tone tennis court and saying this is tennis and this is pickleball, you put one color down on the court. So like a tennis court would typically have a two-tone with white lines.
Yeah.
You just make the court solid blue with white tennis lines. And then when you want to do pickleball, you have two options. You can either put blended lines painted down going this way. So you would have 4 pickleball courts on one tennis court. So theoretically, you could have up to 8 pickleball courts, which identifies as very good multi-purpose. Not saying you're going to use all 8 at the same time, but you could always have one where people are playing tennis and one where people are playing pickleball, or vice versa. And then we just have portable nets that are on little wheels and they just hinge up. You pull them out for pickleball. When they're not used, you pull them off. It's simple. The pickleball players know how to do that. It's very elementary, base level, move it on, move it off. But now you accommodate both sports. The biggest thing is now, and it always comes down to this, everywhere, any place, I know this from USTA, seeing these jobs all over the section, money, right? Where can we get money, and how can we help cultivate that where it lightens the load for our townships and municipalities? Obviously, first, the DCNR grant, they got $62,000 for Wernersville. Now, that was standalone just for 2 courts. Now, if you have other things in that area, basketball, you have soccer field, renovations, baseball, walking track, anything, obviously more money is going to be plentiful because you're going to have more other things in there that are going to be offered. You could probably get more money for that. USTA, again, they are the largest governing body of the largest nonprofit sports organization in the world. They gross $310 million from the US Open in New York every year in profit. That goes back into investing in communities. They have invested $13 million in 2025 towards helping fund to help repair and fix up old tennis courts. And they do that throughout, not only nationally, but then locally, they do that as well. That money, we can look at applications, things. The one thing that needs to be done, though, if you say, hey, we want to have USTA money and we want the DCNR money, is the USTA has one rule, is they don't want permanent, keyword is permanent, pickleball lines on the tennis courts for the first, I think it's 4, I got to look at the grants, either 4 or 5 years. After that, after the 5 years, that's it, right? So how do you do that? To me, it's you have your tennis courts, you put them down, you put the temporary lines down. They are and we have them, we use them at the Y. It's a very easy rip, put it down at the beginning of every spring, you tape it off. They're acrylic lines, you pull them back up. They're temporary. It fits the bill for the suit and the need, and it's not painted on the court. Okay. So then that would activate, hey, you do your tennis courts, you get your pictures, you do all that, you send it in, you get your grant money, and then you can put your tape down lines and do that. That would give you the opportunity to get, hopefully, again, you have to run the numbers. I see the quote, it's $167,000 from Brenneman. The other thing is you're in great hands with Tom Brenneman. I see court builders from all over Pennsylvania, all this whole region. He's been in the business for 50 years. He tells people it's not about making money, but also trying to invest in the communities. He's pushing his, into his 70s. He's going to say, hey, you can go out and get this quote, that quote, but I'm going to give you the honest to goodness quote. I walked the courts up here. I saw them myself and have a pretty good understanding. They are going to need what he says in that, because if you just put a Band-Aid over it, in 2-3 years, they re-crack. And now it costs more money every year, bi-yearly, tri-yearly, whatnot, versus you do it right up front. You're going to have tennis courts for 15, 20 years that can be used for tennis and pickleball. So that is all I have. Kelly, anything to add?
I don't. I do have questions just
Sure.
from the funding perspective.
Sure.
So for USTA,
Mhm.
what percentage is grantable and what percentage is a required match?
So they will do, say it's 167,000, they will have a number, and we're going to fit into one of the 3 categories. There's category 1, category 2, and category 3. The goal would be, and I think this is me looking at it, this is not quoting like, hey, we'd be in there. I think we would fit in the highest category just looking at it, passing the eye test, because of where we're going to have to work on the infrastructure of the courts. A category 2 is just resurfacing, coloring, doing that. And that's only 8,000 a court. So it'd be 16. This is going to fit that next category up. So we would have to apply, go through the process. I know the people at National, I can work with them and, obviously I have a vested interest in our community in doing something here to get an exact number. The district, or excuse me, the section as well. So you have the national money coming, that's the big check. And then you would get some money from the section as well, which might be like 5% of the project. But hey, if it's an extra $4,000, that's $4,000 that we don't have to pay out of pocket. So, and then when it comes to say, how are these courts going to be used? Obviously, pickleball will attract people from all different walks of life. From a tennis perspective, we have no courts west operational of Conrad Weiser. And you go down there tonight, we have adult clinics, we have junior clinics. There's people waiting to get on the courts. People will be here that come from this area of the district, and will certainly use those. And it would be something that I know would be appreciated, because people ask me all the time, where can we go to play? And everybody has to pigeonhole that direction, or they go to Elko. So
I'd love to see it getting used. So
Right.
I'm all for chasing grant opportunities with
Yep.
USTA, DCNR,
Yep.
anybody and everybody
Sure.
that can make this a reality.
100% with it.
Yeah. An important note with DCNR is that for a small communities grant, up to $30,000 requires no match, but every little bit above 30,000 is a dollar for dollar match.
So
It would be very nice to see them used. I lived in town since 2013 and I've never seen anybody use tennis.
Right. Just they're so run down, and
And I got as far as buying a tennis racket, but I never got over there.
right. And
I'm also,
we can help program things up here. Hey, offerings, things. It builds energy, it builds enthusiasm, and it's the world's healthiest sport.
Yeah.
Adds 9 years to your life. Pickleball's the same. I don't want to short pickleball out too. It's equally as important, because now you're conducting that. Those small courts that are pickleball courts, they also double as a 10 and under court for kids. So the tennis kids that use the red balls for easier to control the ball, they can use the pickleball. So it does have dual added value, actually 3 different types of values. So
Yeah, I'm sold on the premise. We just got to figure out how to make it happen.
sure. And love to have that, communication and dialogue and work, get something with the USTA. We can look, the other thing is we would need to do it within the calendar year for 2026, because we would have to apply Conrad Weiser Tennis Association as a USTA organizational member. It's within our boundaries and jurisdiction within our area. So we could put it under us, but we have to do it in 26 because our courts are getting redone in 27. We're going to do another one next year.
DCNR's intake for that has already passed, right?
And it's the end of April.
End
It's
of April.
31st.
Okay.
So
Real close.
there's a couple different factors to consider.
Okay.
We would have to know how much USTA would actually contribute toward the project. It's a considerable cost, and it would be important to know, okay, what is the grantable amount and what funding could be expected?
Yeah.
DCNR for playground rehabilitation or facilities rehabilitation. I was looking at the swing set for rehabilitation. I think the tennis courts might go into a different category, or it could be the same category. So therefore, you're looking at that expenditure. How would we consider what the primary and most important need is, and the outstanding sewer project and township building? DCNR is affiliated with the state of Pennsylvania. USTA would be a separate grant opportunity that they would not be aware of technically. So it would be really important to see first what Ryan can present.
Do you feel that's a hard deadline we could accomplish by April 31st? Do you think that's, I mean, I could get it. I can talk to the right people and say,
Yeah.
here's what we think it would be. It would be a rough estimate. Obviously it takes them, used to be about 6 months. Now it's about 4 to 8 weeks, because they have so many, to actually award something. But it's also a process of the number one thing that they will want. We can go through the whole thing. I can fill this thing out in a day and get the architectural and do all that stuff with Tom. They want a letter that says, hey, the township is prepared to do a proof of funding, meaning we're going to pick up the other money. It's not locking you into anything, but it's saying we are prepared to pick up this through DCNR and other expenditures. It doesn't lock you into anything. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go.
So tight turnaround. The only thing I would say is if this is something that we are actually interested in doing, Colin will probably yell at me at this, but we could actually consider, in the grand scheme of things, taking out a loan to meet whatever the gap is. I don't go into that lightly, but if we didn't get what we got or need to get from DCNR, if it's something that we want to do, and we're not going to be any less cash strapped in future years than we are this year, everything just gets more expensive. It might be worthwhile to figure out the dollars and cents of a 20-year on whatever that is and pay it,
So if we take out a
$200.
loan for that, will we not get in trouble because of the sewer?
possibly. And that's why I said Colin would
Yeah.
probably yell at me, because then they would be like, oh, you have money to do a
Right.
playground. But my argument is, no, we don't, because that's why we borrowed money.
Well, this goes back to what I said to Dan Muster and Wheatneck. We've been complying and
For the record, I don't want to take out a loan, but I'm just saying that,
I know.
that is something that we should consider
I agree.
in due diligence.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I hate that people act like, some people, not us, but act like we have not been complying about this sort of thing, and we have. And Main Street, Marion Township has been suffering over it for too long. So.
I think for
Okay.
good or for bad, we're at a precipice for that there's going to be a turning point with that very soon based on what we have to go through with DEP and everything else. So not to shift attention away from the tennis court thing. We are interested. It's a tight deadline.
Sure.
If all other things being equal, I would say get us that information.
Yeah.
Because that will be sort of the
Yep.
pivotal factor on if we try to rush and get an
Right.
application into DCNR, or if we sort of,
And
That would be it for the year. There's
Okay.
opportunities, the local share account grants. I have to talk to the officials because there's the township building and all these other things.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a part of the township building because it is owned by the
Yeah.
township, correct?
yeah.
So
And
we
it,
have to talk about, how do we strategically approach that?
it took 18 months for Warner's, but we just had to go through, figure out what the best plan of attack was. So it's one of those things. And the other thing is, if it doesn't go or you get your application in 26, you can become a free community tennis member. We don't have to pigeonhole it under CWTA. We could say it's Marion Township. It's just, you just have a organizational number. So it's not like, hey, we couldn't push it.
Yeah.
You need to push it past the deadline. It's appropriate, but
Yeah, and so the other thing to consider is if you have something already lined up for 2027,
Yeah.
maybe if there's enough time, we get our ducks in a row for 2028.
Yeah.
As well. I hate to push things out
I-
2 years, but in
I
the grand
would-
scheme of things.
yeah, I would look at it if you get it. I think the thing with us
Yeah.
is you got to have it in by 2026. You can let it bleed over, but you
Okay.
see what I mean? As long as
So,
you got it in.
Most
I see what you're
state,
saying.
like the grants that we do with the state, they're
Right.
good for a certain period
Sure,
of time.
sure.
So if that's not the case, if we can get it applied
Right.
and it's good for a while,
Yeah,
then that's something we could sit on potentially if
Right.
we aren't able to get it in for the deadline for
Right.
DCNR this year.
April 20, so it's a couple days.
Yeah, it's
like-
April 31st.
It's
Yeah.
real close.
I will get on the phone
Okay.
and see what I can do. and
Yeah.
try to get that information to Kelly and she can get it to
Yeah.
you guys. I'll give you my cards here.
Thank you.
You guys can certainly contact me. Any questions?
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
like,
And I
that may
appreciate
be-
that because the more people that use the park, the more people that
Better.
hopefully come back to Main Street.
The only thing I ask is, if you can CC the township on any email,
Sure.
I would appreciate it.
Sure.
And Kimberly too.
Okay.
So I have, your email here. What I can do is tomorrow morning, I can send you an
Sure.
email, just given,
Email chain.
That way I
Yeah.
can copy it with you
yeah, and
guys,
that way
Kelly,
we're
get everybody
all
in the loop.
into it and we all,
Yeah.
we're all
Sure.
knowing what's going on. And I don't know if
Kelly,
if Don wants to
we-
be in it, since you're the president of the MCCA.
We also have there's different districts.
Mhm.
The district tennis service representative for the entire district from Penn State to Altoona, all the way down to the border, lives right here in Myerstown. Kathy Schock. I don't know if you know the name Schock, but she literally lives right here. So she is able to advocate too, because she has a vested interest. I
Sounds like
appreciate your time.
I appreciate you coming out.
Really.
And,
Thank you.
Thank you. Something together. Thank you. Appreciate it.
John, you wanted to say something? Yes.
Norfolk Southern for the emergency services stuff.
I think we're good.
They have another grant and we're already doing the paperwork for it. Thriving Communities Grant. Enhancing community spaces, programs that beautify neighborhoods and improve shared spaces. Increasing livability, promoting commerce, and attracting more residents, businesses to an area and a thriving community.
I think we should chase that one
might be
too.
Something good to. I
Check.
just think
While you're looking at that, or either one or anybody, See if that has stipulation on, once it's awarded, if it has to be completed within like 12 months.
I know right now, just, we have, just for September, we haven't get in
Yeah.
for Norfolk Southern.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that has a longer window, like let's say that has a 24-month, then that lines
We'll
up
find out,
with,
because one of the things I don't think anybody here knows yet is our current deputy EMC, Norfolk Southern Special Agent.
oh, so we got a little bit of an in there. Okay, good,
Yeah, he keeps feeding me stuff.
good.
What is this?
yeah.
Because we are less than, I think I figured out, we're less than 600 feet at the very southern tip out of the township from the railroad at like 419 Newmanstown.
Yeah.
So that's where, one of the things like I'm putting in for a radio and stuff like that under the grant for the fire company, for fire police, if we can, that's a whole other subject that we'll talk about radio.
Yeah.
I go to the railroad tracks every day.
Yeah, if that has a longer window though, that
Yeah.
might line up with the USTA and DCNR. We might, but like I said, whether it's this year, next year, 2028, et cetera, the stars might align that we can get the vast majority of this paid for by grants, and we only have to chip in a little bit, or community association chips in a little bit, and we chip a little bit. That you can make it happen. Okay. Gonna move back to the regularly scheduled program with the announcements.
My question on this
Yeah.
is this anything that Carl can do?
They're like repaving the thing, they're grinding it up.
They're yeah.
So that's nothing you can do?
Carl probably can do it, but we'd have to rent equipment, and we'd have to probably hire a couple more Carls to
Yeah, this is the
to do it.
first time.
Push the cart before the horses. He
Yeah.
doesn't even have a truck.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask
Yeah.
the man over
Yeah.
there, the main man over
No,
there.
there's things I'm all for doing in-house, but this I think is a big enough project that we need to take it external. Okay, announcements, public sewer related stuff, or except I should say on lot sewer first. There's no time like the present if you haven't already gotten your system pumped out. Get it pumped out, get it inspected, because there will be letters going out for people that have not pumped and needed to, with potentials for fines after that, and that's going to start very, very soon.
And everybody's calling about it.
Everybody's calling about it. Hopefully they actually do it.
We had 9 done, but there's how many houses?
There's more that have pumped out in the past,
Yeah.
but there were 9 between
That
from
was in
March,
March, yeah.
just in March. So people are actually starting to do it again, but I think we're still like half of the properties.
Be
And it's-
interested to see what it is next month
Yeah,
when we get the, you
once we
get the
have the
April.
letter out for a bit.
Yeah, and then maybe the following month, because
The growing season's just
Yeah.
starting
Yeah.
and the weather's turning, so
Yeah.
most people will be going back to their property maintenance.
Yeah. On that same vein of things, Act 537, we are on track with the proposed milestones. Wilmelsdorf Robozonia Joint Authorities engineer is looking into our request to add water to the agenda. And we're also evaluating roads for potential easement needs. Terra Tracker, as we mentioned, there were 9 properties that were pumped out during March. 8 service providers have completed the registration process. And we're working on getting that non-compliant language and letter together with HydroTerra, the SEO, and the solicitor.
Did Bob get the email about the easements?
Yes, you got the email about the easements, and we're attempting to narrow down which ones might be absolutely necessary versus, because we're still comparing it in the design process. So those were all potential, and
Right.
knowing which ones have deeds and which ones don't. If Colin could forward the deeds for the ones that you do have in hand, that would be
I
great.
think I have them, right, Carl?
Yeah.
I did really
Most,
good work
most,
on it.
yeah, most of the alleys. Most of the alleys we have.
So I can forward you what I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So most of stuff on that list was stuff we actually hold as, like, we have recorded stuff in township building for, I think.
Well,
Well, yeah, but
Carl was the man,
Carl's always the man.
and then somebody congratulated me for doing it, and I just didn't tell them it was.
No problem with that.
But it would be great to have the deeds in hand. That way we
Yeah.
have it completely,
Yeah.
I's dotted, T's crossed.
I will, forward them. Next week.
And I can confirm that the Water Authority had you added as an agenda item for last night's meeting. I haven't gotten an update yet on what they discussed. Their engineer hasn't reached back out to us yet. Joe's trying to follow.
No, I appreciate that because I was sort of staunchly in resistance to that, but then I did a little more reading about
Told me
the,
I could have went to the meeting. It's right across the street from my house.
we know for next time. But we don't have to be as,
You have to force people to
Draconian.
hook up.
yeah, you don't have to be as draconian about forcing people to hook up when it's voluntary on the water, unlike the sewer. So we could say like, mandatory hookup is 1 foot. And then if you want to hook up to it, you can.
Right,
And
and you can
it's-
keep your well, and you can have city water.
Yeah,
So if
it's-
you wanted
it's-
to, you could blend it or turn one off.
we hold the cards on writing the ordinance for that, unlike the sewer system stuff.
Right.
So it all depends on how many people are interested. That might be a good thing to send a survey out and get kind of a pulse on things, but knowing that they're able to accommodate the request is the first thing, because I don't want to go and make that effort and then
Right,
find out
right.
like, oh, you can't do this. Kimberly, anything else on that, before I move into grants and grant opportunities? Okay, so, grants, we had a grant awarded for 56,000 back on October, 2024 about EMA trailer and incident command unit. We have a little bit more in there to close out that grant funding wise. John, I believe, is looking at getting a couple of small pieces of equipment. We had talked about lettering, but any of the lettering quotes that we had gotten was more than what we had. So we should still revisit that, but it's probably not the best use of the money. We'll can try to get like some chargers and other little 50 bits for inside the trailer that are within the confines of the grant.
I'm trying to get, I would say minimal lettering,
Mm.
basically just the white reflective stripe.
Yeah.
Down to BMA, something like that.
Works for me. We can build it now and always make it better later.
I like the turtle.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I can find some way of getting you a large decal of that turtle.
That's my speed.
Okay, the next one was 38,000 back on, again, October 2024 for the Tulpahawken Police Protective Tactical and Communication Equipment. Believe that we have gotten all of that stuff and we've submitted that in for,
We haven't submitted the police equipment yet, so that's gonna happen this month.
okay, perfect.
We just
Yeah,
got done with the sewer.
okay, because I know we got
getting that.
all the physical stuff for them, so good, okay. And then we had 69,000, I got an extra zero here.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That would have been wonderful,
would've
wouldn't
been-
it? I apologize for my typography.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Would have been a real pleasant surprise, but, we've got basically 11,000 that remains for survey and utility. This was about the sewer. Reimbursement request number 1 was approved. We're just waiting for reimbursement on that. DCNR grant opportunities. We have the playground rehabilitation grant and tennis court that we were just talking about. We're going to be looking into. There's also the financial year 2027 congressional discretionary funding. This is something that we submitted back on the 12th of March to refurbish the township building. The federal grant share would be 75% of that total price tag, which is a little over $2 million. The township's match would be 678,000, which is the other 25%. And Representative Dan Muser's office will be updating us on the progress through the congressional committees.
Yes, I reached out to Madison from Dan Muser's office today. She said last year they were actually on target with awarding that grant on time. So she is hopeful that again this year we would hear by January 2027.
Okay.
Last year they heard early January. And she said no news is really good news. And so her opinion is that we're moving through the committees and the project is in the budget and going to be talked about. So.
Excellent. It's fantastic.
And, sorry, go ahead.
Can you take some questions in that?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You're gonna have to come up here so I can.
Come close to the mic,
I
man.
wrecked my back.
Drag. Oh, so you
Can you sit up here, this one then?
or speak real loud.
And then,
Voice carries.
of course, you're gonna do your name and
As a
address.
child, then. Thank you very much. I appreciate the.
And then state your name and address.
Matt Barnhart,
Thank you.
460 Tulpahawken Forge Road. I was under the impression that the building committee, of which I am the vice chair, the goal was to get back in the building as soon as possible. There was a stipulation of 4 things that needed to be done in order to accomplish that, one of which was the septic line needed to be repaired. The second was asbestos needed to be remediated. The third was mold needed to be dealt with, and the fourth was the west wall needed to be stabilized in order to get the building insured.
Yeah, so the west wall is the sticky thing that we need to look at and be careful about, because it's a fine line
Well,
between,
That's the question that I had when we spoke. It was my understanding that we could deal with something that we considered to be kind of urgent.
potentially. It depends on how we do it. It's not so much the what, it's the how that is very, very critical here. And one of the things that we actually are actively considering is, once all the other things are remediated, the mold, the asbestos, everything else, is working with Kraft to see if we can close part of the building off. Like, we don't have anybody that goes in that rear section, and knowing that we are in a strong contention for a major grant, sort of punt it for the time being, rather than spend $100,000 and potentially invalidate
Well,
the grant.
the bid from an outfit called Whitmer from 2024, I believe,
23.
Yeah,
23, was 25 grand on the end wall to stabilize it. That included repointing, which I consider to be cosmetic more than anything else. The structural aspect of it was what they called bow ties.
Yeah.
Assuming that would be half of the bid, the bulk of it would have been, I think, the repointing of it and some kind of stitching that they were going to install to tie the building together. Even if it ran half of what that bid was, is 12 grand. You're spending 14 for this space as a return on investment. Spending 12 to get into the building as opposed to 14.4 to stay here seems to make a lot of sense. The other concern that I have is that we're kind of risking a catastrophe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I've said for the longest time, I don't think that the collapse of that wall is imminent. Pardon me, it was a dusty day mowing today. I don't think the collapse is it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But my favorite TV show is Ridiculousness. And you see all the time guys driving dump trucks, not to say that you would do such a thing, with the bed up and taking a traffic light out or a road sign, or the helicopters that fly over make the windows in my house rattle. Any lateral movement there, it's a dicey situation. And if that's what's impeding returning to the building,
There's other
yeah.
aspects of it. but
yeah, I
that's
heard
one of-
this. Where did Kraft come? There doesn't seem to be any stipulation in there other than taking the chain off the panic bars that needed to be dealt with
We talked
immediately.
to Kraft, and the reality of it is, because of the condition that the building is in, between like the mold, the asbestos, or the combination of,
Those are
I know, but hear me out. The combination of the small factors, along with the wall being a potential hazard, is where they said it's not occupiable. Like, if Carl needs to go in and get a tool in and out quick, that's one thing. But to have people there for hours at a time, having meetings, or having Lisa in the office all day, can't do it.
Did we ever provide the committee with that craft write-up?
Yeah, we have it. It's in the pile of stuff that goes back a
What
decade.
write up
Yeah,
The
Craft.
one that I read
the citation
like 2
for,
weeks ago. Well, yeah.
for Kraft?
yeah.
I did send out something to Colin to verify if that could be given.
I don't think they got that.
Oh, they
Yeah, we
did.
did. Yeah, I have it.
The Kraft?
You might have the
Same
you
Kraft.
might have the original one. Like, there was one that we had talked to Glenn.
You have the Kraft letter?
October 2nd, 2024.
Now that's after that. That's very recently. So you probably don't have that yet.
What? Okay, can we get that?
That's the
The
lawyer.
Yeah, I did send a message to him to see if we could release that.
So because there's open boxes and open electrical of 240 down there,
Yeah.
that was all cited too when
I saw, that was in the one of 2024.
they cited us for all that stuff as well.
They cited you.
Yes.
We didn't
Meaning
get
that it's
fined,
not-
but
not
it's in the,
It's in the
It
letter.
would- it's- Meaning it would need to be remediated before you move back into the building.
Anything that affects the safety of people in the building, which hot electric is certainly bad. Wall falling down.
The ceiling tiles, that was
Well,
one
that's
thing.
upstairs. That's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get that letter to you, but the reality is we're trying to check the boxes off, but it's not quite as simple as saying, hey, let's spend $12,000 to bow tie.
So I looked at your Whitmer estimate again,
Yes.
and
My.
there's a couple things.
The Whitmer estimate.
Whitmer.
There's
The
a couple
Whitmer
things
estimate.
that, because I was there for this entire duration of
Right,
this
right.
ordeal here. I talked to him about what Whitmer wanted to do, which was putting the J hooks through and tying the wall back.
Right.
He said, why would you want to tie the wall back when it's already lowered? And you can't do that, being that there is no wall where where the vehicles are parked. What are you tying it to? Because there's no columns in there.
You're tying it to the floor joist.
Correct, but there's no, that whole floor sitting there by itself over a span when there was supposed to be a wall in there or some
Yeah,
columns.
it's structurally weakened in ways that it shouldn't be because
Right,
they're
so
originally loaded.
he's saying that even if we would go to mediate that wall, Tippett Weaver said, when we would start to peel that stuff back, the engineer would want to be there for it to see what they would need to do for sure, right? Now, when I read your Whitmer estimate and I go to page 3 of it, it says no. In our opinion, it would be in the best interest in the owner to have a structural engineer evaluate the entire building.
I've seen that. It's
done.
it's my report.
Right. So that was never done by these guys.
Your report?
That's what he keeps saying.
Well,
That was never done by these guys.
Let's simmer down.
By
So
which-
that's
by
why
which-
I say that this is the report that I have to listen to, because they were even suggesting to do this before they would even say, yes, they would even do anything that they talked about in here.
Bottom line is it's not as simple as it looks on the surface. It is something that we're making strides to. Some of the stuff hasn't been released to you yet, but it is our intent to try to get back into the building. And don't worry, Lisa, we'll rework it so you don't have the tiny office for the office, but so that we don't have the expenditure of the rental here. That's the brass tacks of it. But again, it's not quite as simple as the dollars and cent trade-off of it's $14,000 to rent this space, but it would only be 12 for the wall. Realistically, it will probably be considerably more than 12 for the wall, even if we don't do the repointing. And we have to tread very lightly on that to make sure that we don't do anything that puts ourselves in a bad state for the grant.
Whitmer was not suggesting raising the bricks that have.
That's right.
They were gonna
They were
they were
pulling them
gonna
back.
Pulling
Well, they even used the word plane, like the plane in Spain, as opposed to.
And there was 3 options in this estimate.
It's my, let's talk about your Tippett's, can you get us, the craft report? Can you get the committee? I mean, if we're gonna have this committee, we ought to have this kind of stuff. Can you get us from Tippett's measured drawings? The
So-
only dimension that they have on their drawings is ceiling height, which is useless.
So they have the drawings. We just don't have the software to open it. They said
Why
could
can't they
print it.
print them
But
out?
here's the problem. Your focus is 5 steps of before where we need you to be. I need to know what to do with the history stuff first, right?
You can't do anything with it if you can't go in the building.
We need to get it out of the building before it's mediated.
If you have a
That's the
plan,
first
I
I've heard
I
that.
can't work around the stuff that's in there
yeah, we need,
to mediate that building.
regardless of what we do, we got to get the stuff somewhere.
So step 1 for you guys to help us with, if you guys actually genuinely want to help, is let's get that stuff
That's the-
preserved and in a spot where we can save it.
I hadn't heard
so
that
we
until
can
just
go
now.
and do what we need to do with the building. And this can't be the first time you've heard this, because I've said it numerous times at your meetings.
We had 4 things that we were looking to do. And
One
I
of
thought
them,
that 3
the last
of them
meeting-
were, and then all of a sudden the history room comes up. I wasn't aware of that. We've had 4 or 5 meetings. How many meetings have we had? It came up at the last meeting. That's the first I heard of it. And I didn't realize it was contingent on.
Well, what do you do when you fix up a house? Do you empty the house out first?
I mean, if you can.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
We're not working up there. We need to get into the first floor first.
We need to fix the entire building.
Well-
I know what you're saying, right? But we need to get the stuff out of there also, because it would need to be cleaned anyway. And-
I still think that Tippett's owes us, the township, measured drawings. The drawings that they gave you are useless. They're excellent. They're beautiful drawings, but they're of no value.
The drawings that they have, or I'm assuming they're done in AutoCAD, right?
I don't know exactly what it
Okay.
was. They gave me and Lisa what it was, but we couldn't open it, and then the file was wrong, and then he did say we would print it for us. but-
WDWG.
I can pull it up tomorrow.
I mean, Lisa enlarged drawings, and I was able to calculate some sort of scale on those drawings. But it'd be really nice for them to
Get
do
the
their
files, I'll
job.
figure out
We
how to-
paid for that.
Okay.
I mean, we paid for a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't
And you
a cheap
didn't-
evaluation.
Well,
We,
but I,
we paid for a evaluation. We didn't pay for design drawings.
But they did include drawings.
They do
that are-
have-
ceiling heights,
Excuse me?
the only dimension on those drawings is ceiling heights.
And what I've heard said 3 times now is there are drawings there and we haven't been able to get them printed out because we don't have the software.
Yeah,
Typically,
That's their job, not yours.
debatable, but what they did the drawings, whether we have AutoCAD or not, is on us. But what I told Lisa is to get a copy of the files. I'll find some way of getting them open and printable, whether we take them to JDM or whatever, doesn't matter. I'll find some way of viewing AutoCAD, whether it's like blue beam or whatever it is.
I
or
don't
whatever. But
understand why they foisted that onto you.
they did the drawings. It's on us to use the drawings.
You were there, you measured, you said you had the measurements,
I wasn't doing physical drawing, but I was standing by the guy that Little Creek drew the building while I physically was measuring things.
Yeah.
Between windows, there was sizes between windows,
Right,
everything
right.
was measured, not just ceiling height.
and let's go back to one, we can't do anything in that building until we take care of this historical item. So having the drawings would be nice, but the drawings have nothing to do with.
it's a question of what you paid for and what you got. What we paid for as Hoboken or as residents.
I mean, it's a really extensive packet.
And it's not like they're saying they won't give us the drawings.
Believe it or not,
We
there's
just
some
don't have any
really
way of opening
extensive
them.
numbers in here, and it's pretty detailed.
I
Mine
agree.
is, mine is the drawings.
Even the drawings, they're beautiful drawings. It's remarkable. I'm very impressed. I just don't understand why they would send you something like that.
Let's get off the drawings
yeah.
because it's not
But
pertinent to what we're doing.
We can't do anything to the building until those rooms are moved. How do we get into the buildings to do that?
Give us a plan and then we'll get it cleared on our end.
We need to figure out
Craft
how
in
we,
terms of.
Glenn
your
said that
Craft, so
partial-
we need,
if
so we need
somebody's
the
going in
craft.
to do
report.
work, they
Yeah.
can go in for like an hour at a time. They can't be there all day or most of the day. And it has to be approved by the supervisors, and the supervisors have to let Kraft know
Yeah.
if that's being done.
We gotta follow the same rules that we impose on everybody else when it comes to.
So you will provide the committee with the craft report.
Yes.
I'm waiting on Colin's answer
yeah.
on that.
Yeah, so the short answer
Collins
is,
is okay.
Yeah.
Can you give us what was submitted to Representative Mooser's office?
It's
Is there copies of what was sent to him?
it would be that report.
yeah,
It's
so
that
that's all it was.
Tippets
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
the
Tippets, the Tippets report.
Tippets report?
Yes.
Because the last time we had this circular discussion, you indicated it was the Kepperling report.
Well,
That's
That-
different.
that's-
Inside it.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's within the Tippets report. That's part of it.
so Kepperling Preservation Services, right? They're like the bigger umbrella. And everybody is put together by Kepperling. So she found Dana Clark. She works with all these people to restore these buildings. Because that's what they do, right? She's more of the
When
hands-on.
Tippets didn't have a number, there was no dollar number on Tippets report. It was in the Kepperling report.
There's just dollar amount. We paid 14 for this.
Right.
But then there's numbers in here, what it would cost to mediate something.
It was the Kepperling report that's where the number came from.
Which number?
The dollar amount for the grant.
Yeah, no, not really, no. We applied for as much as we possibly could.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
the grant stuff is separate. They allude to grant opportunities in there, but they don't actually provide any details in the engineering report.
So the grant is just a pot of
Grant?
money that.
It's an exclusive pot of money that you must be invited to. And this
Yeah.
is, they got invited to because of all the situation outreach that we've been doing. So
Okay,
we applied for the maximum amount of money that the government would give us for this project.
okay.
So it works out to, the government would pay for 75%
Yeah, I
of
s- I s-
anything
I
the
saw those
building
numbers.
needs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So those numbers are their numbers, not our numbers.
Correct, it's the
Okay,
government,
all right,
what the
all right.
government is willing to give
Okay,
you. And it's a pretty extraordinary
It's a
sum.
huge
Yeah, it
amount of
is.
money.
Yeah, I can tell you that there's no other grant opportunity out there that I could apply to, that the township could apply to, that would give you that much money.
Nowhere near close.
Nowhere near close.
Um,
And that's why I would say we're hesitant to do any work, because any work could be seen by the government
Yeah,
as
I
forfeiting.
understand that.
We don't want to
And-
shoot ourselves in the foot. with
Again, I
$2
was
million.
looking at, and I thought the only criterion to get back in the building, and then all of a sudden I start hearing about this craft report, which we had, but it didn't seem to be the controlling factor in getting back in the building. Now it obviously is. So well, you're going to check with Colin.
Yeah.
There is also a funding directory, historic preservation funding through the National Trust. I believe it's the National Trust. It costs $65 or $85 a year. I would suggest that we explore that. I've been meaning to, I thought I would just go ahead and do that, but I didn't get around to it. If I do that, could I get reimbursed for it? Like I said, it's under $100. I'm not sure what it entails. It's a directory for homeowners, businesses, municipalities. And are you?
It's not one I've heard of, but
That's not something I'm familiar with. I do believe the previous administration had investigated whether the building counts as a historical building for traditional historic preservation grants, and it came up as no.
It came up as no.
Correct.
we're
It's been
historically
modified.
significant, but not eligible for a lot of that stuff because of what has been done to the
It's been
original building.
altered.
Well, I don't think this is, well, I'm not sure. I might just fork over the $65, and if it's of any value, I'll send you a bill.
You investigated all that, Jesse, didn't you?
I investigated a lot, so I don't know what $65 gets you, some sort of list.
It's a directory. It's a list of funding sources as it relates to historic properties.
So why don't you give the
So-
township the direction to look into that, and we will purchase that, and then it can be
Send-
open knowledge for everybody.
Send the information for that into Lisa and then we'll work on that.
Okay, I will do so. I appreciate your time.
But step one, right? My house was built in 1840, right? Well, anytime I do anything with that house, if I'm removing horsehair plaster, if I leave anything in that room, it's trashed. I don't want to be responsible for ruining the historical items in that building. We start working on that building and we get
Yes.
horsehair plaster all over that stuff and all over that fragile paper and all over that stuff, it's gonna be garbage.
When we start doing stuff on the building, everything has to be out of it.
Right, and that's
No
why I'm adamant on trying to get the historical items out first and finding a place where we can store them properly so they don't get ruined. And right now, that is not heated or cooled. So that means that's it's gonna be 90-degree heat again.
Yeah, it's been for decades. So, I mean, I'm not,
I will tell you, it is significantly degraded from when I moved into this town 10 years ago.
I appreciate that.
I've seen that.
I've watched it for 30 years.
Yeah,
So
that's sad.
I understand. And I do value it. I think it's important, but I didn't realize that was a contingency that we
Well,
needed to
Like I
address.
said, all other things being equal, historical items aside, just for a second. To go back to the elephant in the room with the wall. The wall something has to happen with the wall, but I don't want to see us be penny wise, pound foolish on this and fix the wall in the short-sighted attempt to get back in there to save $14,000 a year, only to lose out on a $2 million grant opportunity.
Well, yeah, that certainly makes sense. But again, I was concerned, again, there are a number of ways to look at it, a number of ways to present it. It's like I said, it's very slight risk, but it is not riskless. It's not zero.
I need to go out and buy some I-beams and that's what a good rig would be to temporarily brace that wall. That's something then, well, we would most likely and will probably do. But if it hasn't moved, that measurement.
No, I agree. It's
So,
not.
Sometimes it's best not to kick the hornet's nest.
Right, and then if I would go in there with the jack and try to jack that wall.
And it comes down.
Then it's gonna be
Then it-
disturbing it.
Then it's on us.
Well, and we've
Yeah.
discussed, there was some bid somewhere along the way that, well, I think it was, my Whitmer bid, with the second, number that was 68 grand or something like that. They were talking about taking the whole wall down, and rebuilding it from the ground
I
up,
think that was the
using the brick as a brick veneer. again, I
Yeah,
would, we'll wait to see
we'll
what.
see what,
I will say,
what
if
the
I
budget
can,
is.
if there was an emergency at the building
Well, that
where
was the
that
discussion.
was our discussion.
Yeah, that's-
And I hope I'll restate is that if that wall for some reason was an imminent danger, according to a structural engineer, if it somehow moved, then we would call Congress and we would say, we have this imminent danger, imminent issue.
Right.
Could this not impact our grantability? And that's the only situation.
The
in
only
which we
way,
could contact
the only
them.
way you could declare it an imminent danger is when the bricks are laying in the parking lot.
or if we take measurements on it,
Yeah.
we see that it's shifted another inch or something.
Right.
Well,
Or
it's,
starting to
there's
crack out.
there's
Yeah.
a slow failure and then there's a catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be a lower case is the way we were talking about it, lower E emergency, a capital emergency, or all caps emergency.
When you really,
And that would be,
when you really read these bids though, when they start taking this apart, even if it's just to do a, let's say, a minor contingency repair, like anything you work on, right? You don't know what you're gonna get.
Mm.
Right?
You start
So
peeling
you
stuff
start
back. it
peeling
can be
stuff
way
back,
worse.
it's like, oh, we can't tie this in. We got to do it this way, right? So we could potentially go to try to brace it temporarily and then end up in bigger trouble, right? Because both of these packets say that the engineers would like to be basically there when they start working on this because of that. So, I mean,
And I'm sure once we open stuff up, we're gonna find all sorts of fun.
when I started opening up my house, there was needles in my wall.
No, I
All
wasn't talking
kinds
about
of
that
stuff.
kind of fun,
Well,
but
there's all kinds.
structurally, we're probably gonna find some weird stuff.
you mean
Find all kinds of
hypodermic
stuff.
needles?
Find all kinds of stuff. You don't know what you're gonna get when you open a wall up.
I mean,
Years
old
ago, I took a-
bathrooms, the vanities, they had a thing for.
Yeah, I was
dropping
gonna
razor
just say
blades
the
in the wall.
razor blades.
Yeah.
I had mouse
Yeah.
plates in my.
Well, again, I appreciate the clarity here. Look forward to seeing the craft report if Colin says it's okay.
Yeah.
I
And,
would just go by, you say you have something, I would go by with what that is.
well, that doesn't indicate that there's a prescription. It doesn't state that you can't go into the building without a gas mask and I mean, there's,
So it's technically, I
I
think
had lead certification years ago and there's protocols involved in that, but I can't see that building.
it comes down to certificate of occupancy. Like if you really want to put a fine line on it, we technically don't have a certificate of occupancy right now because of the
What's
issues.
crafts? They work for, I mean,
They do, but we follow the same rules as
Well,
everybody
yeah,
else.
but I didn't know how craft got involved.
Well,
they-
we called them because of
These
the
guys
issues.
were asked, okay, all
Yeah.
right.
We know there was a problem and we were proactive about it and we called them in to assess it and that was the assessment they gave us.
Because like I said, we were working on the basis, the committee was working for months on the basis that there were 4 things that we needed to do.
And
Then
Well,
craft comes up and then the.
If the committee
history
would have
rooms-
listened to me, because I was at those meetings, I told them that I was gonna fix the pipe and I was gonna get that.
Yeah.
Right away. And there was hyper focus on that. And no one, they didn't need, those 4 things, nobody needed to be involved with. We were already working on that at this level. And I was asking
3
for
of them.
things for
So-
other stuff and it got, because people got hyper focused on one area, right? Everything else got missed.
so before we start really beating this dead horse, I think you understand what's going on.
I do.
We all understand what's going on. Let's
And
move
I would
on.
like to see some dimensions
Yeah,
on
and
the
that's-
measured drawings.
I have it written down.
Lisa has a note.
Thank you
That's
for
gonna
your
be-
time.
They get the
That's gonna
files
be
over.
next week.
I'll figure out how to view them.
I think how it came
Okay.
about with craft was the porta potty.
Yeah.
And
It
we
was
couldn't,
because of the septic, like,
we couldn't do it, and then
Yeah.
we're like, well, the septic's fixed, and he's like, no, you can't do that because that would mean you're occupying
buying
it.
it. Yeah,
And that's how all
Yeah.
this started,
Well,
that
that
we're
was
like,
done
oh,
before-
okay.
yeah.
That was done with a grant application.
Yes. Yes.
I need to know what I'm working.
Yeah.
There's no escape, Kelly. Okay, so,
Anyways, let's get
so
moving along.
in the effort of letting Steve get out of here and have a Thursday night, Steve, do you want to go next? Tag team? Okay.
Let's go first. On your fire report? If we do
No,
that.
that's Thursday, that's Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's next Thursday.
You coming next Thursday? Okay.
What do we got, gentlemen?
Radios.
Yeah.
So the radio, for example, that we got 5 years ago.
They're replacing it, aren't they?
Let's just say there's been a lot of heated conversation. Because the terminology I use, like with Berks, is that they have the, what is it, the caviar dreams and champagne wishes, and the volunteer fire departments in this county are eating tuna fish and drinking orange soda.
Mm.
The A-Treat. It's just good though.
Watered down A-Treat.
There you go. So when we got this one, I'm gonna say it was around 7,000, give or take. And in theory, we should get at least 10, if not 15 years out. We're getting 5 years out of it. And Steve just sent me the information that I've been asking for from county. Yeah, I feel bad in that I have to worry about one radio, but the radio we need is tentatively 2 years of my entire budget as EMA.
Yeah.
I'll let Steve give you the potential numbers for the fire company.
Oh,
'Cause
boy.
I cannot see how a single department in this county is gonna be able to get radios.
There
And
was.
more frustration came in. What's
Yeah.
that? And this is worse, because some of these radios are up to 15 grand. But
We just got radios for
I
Opie.
got
Yeah.
infuriated today because I was told the Berks search and rescue units are going to be given Berks radios because they're volunteers and have the money. Which is 80% of our county is
Yeah.
volunteer with no money.
Yeah.
And then the county's like offer them, well, there's a 7-year program at 4.58%, for like to pay for radios. To me, it's still not the point
Yeah.
in that there's all the radios that are in the system, the first generation ones that are going out of service. And mine was one of the non-fire interior radios. That's why we chose, because we could have gotten a more expensive one
Yeah.
when we did, but I didn't feel I needed that. I'm not going inside burned buildings
Yeah.
anymore. So we tried to stay as low as we could, which was still a ridiculous number. But I got questions to the county. This is where maybe you guys can ask Colin next week when it comes to Berks County, is the Motorola system they're using. Yes, Motorola is no question top of the line. But when counties around us like Delaware switch from Motorola to Kenwood, because you can buy 3 Kenwoods for the price of 1 Motorola, why can't we have different radios within the system? It's a control thing with Berks, is they don't want to let anybody else in on their system. But they're forcing departments to spend money they don't have. I don't have as EMA. The fire company, I give them the numbers, sorry. This could be
Well,
fun.
if there's $7,000 a radio and you guys probably have 10 or 15 radios, that's a lot of money. Oh, wait, there's more.
Because this, I keep the little 27, but sorry.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, so this refresh, they're
Yeah.
offering initial buy-in. Varies from 60 to 50% discounted price. They want to be able to buy a bulk order from Motorola. If we buy what I would want, initially upfront would be 156,763. If we don't, that's the fire
Oh,
department.
but wait,
Yeah.
there's more.
If we
Like
don't,
OxyClean.
and we decide to just keep what we have until they give out,
Yes.
which they are no longer supported, there will be no software support, any upgrade that will become obsolete immediately. If we wait until that and buy them all individually, we will be at $348,000.
It's a
That-
nice part trying to buy a fire truck.
That is at current pricing.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is going to go up at higher than normal inflation.
Crazy rates.
So probably 5 to 10% a year increase
Yeah.
over that.
Because the county's been hounding me for about 2 weeks now, and why I haven't replied back to an email from
Well, they've
county.
been hounding me, which I've been hounding you.
Well, Donnie, one of the county people called me, I think it was yesterday. And I'm like, I don't know anything about, you've given me no information. Number one, my supervisors meet the 30th, which is to be the official meeting, when I can get an answer from them, just for my one radio. But I have no information to give them. Why, what am I supposed to tell them? Why am I replacing a radio that works good? I'm old fashioned. It turns on, I can talk to people, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need all the extra stuff and GPS and everything else that the county wants.
Yeah.
So
I'm
once
gonna,
I find out, and it's where, honestly, the chief was the first person to actually send me the presentation. 26 pages of it. I guess they're trying to get the commitment for $16 million worth of
Okay.
radios to get the discount.
So,
Like, Reading's got to spend 3 years of their entire budgets.
yeah,
But I'm like, I got one radio to worry about. What about everybody else? I'm the one, I don't care what I'm saying about the county.
so I'm gonna ask a really dumb question here, and this would probably be a
This is
Colin
hard.
question,
Go ahead.
but yeah. Why don't a bunch of the municipalities band together and sue about monopoly
I
on
was just gonna say.
the radios on that? Because that's,
Everything I've read in this and everything as far as it's locked into Motorola, there was other agencies or other manufacturers actually tried to get under the Freedom of Information Act and
Mhm.
everything, a copy of the bid specs.
Mhm.
They weren't out there. Only RMI is the only entity we can buy radio from in the city of Reading.
yeah, this,
Now, there's things I want to say on here because I can't confirm, but I'm 99% sure the information I was given as far as who works for who on stuff like that.
yeah. I want to talk to Colin about that,
Yes.
because I don't want to go lightly into $156 or $350,000. That's just
Ridiculous.
actual insanity.
Yeah.
Just to clarify,
Yeah.
that does not the truck.
Yeah. And that's even crazier on
Which we
top of
should-
that.
we
Which,
should
yeah,
have.
for $350,000,
The
you've
numbers
got
I
two
gave
radios
you
for
is
everybody.
kind of should have, especially since we added
Yeah.
the fireplace now, so we.
Yeah.
and different
Yeah.
Components of the fireground. The 150 is the,
I think that's where a lot of
Bottom.
municipalities and burgs need to band together, stand
It's
up. and
also
say,
a
like,
boundary
no.
issue for us, being that half the time Lebanon County units come here
Yeah.
and then they go to Lebanon County on the
Yeah.
mutual aid agreements.
Yeah.
And then it's two different radios. Now supposedly, I think you said,
yes.
they said that we
Well-
might. And that's what, it's always
Those counties
changes with
have
birth.
confirmed that they are.
Yeah,
There is no promise that it will work,
yeah,
but if it doesn't, it will be political reasons.
yeah. So I think this is where we need to have a candid conversation with Colin about potentially banding together with some other
I'm
municipalities.
gonna do everything I can to be here next Thursday. I've been leaving all week for 40 hours.
Do me a favor, Lisa, send Colin a note saying that we're probably
Just
gonna
make
need
sure
an
you're here.
executive session.
Okay.
But it's,
Could you or both of you send an email with all this information?
Yeah, get her up to speed so we can brief Colin on it.
Yeah,
you want to just forward her the email you just sent me a little bit ago?
Paper company.
And you can read all of the technical language if I'd like to use.
My plan of attack on this is your plan of attack. It'd be, why aren't the municipalities banding together and the fire companies? And we
Yeah,
write a
it's-
letter of resistance to them
Yeah.
first.
And I've talked to some other fire chiefs
Threaten
also,
litigation.
and they said they've gone to the county commissioners, like, oh, no, this is what they're doing, this is what's best. They don't even want to listen from
Unfortunately,
what I'm being told.
the reality is if we hit that kind of opposition, the only avenue that's available to us is a lawsuit. And I don't like it any more than anybody else in this room likes it, but that's the out. That's what we have to do.
The people that we're in joint zoning with,
Oh, yeah, that's
You think
an
that we-
easy place to start.
that's what I mean, that
Um,
we could hit many municipalities at once by going to a joint zoning meeting.
Kozlov Stout actually already represents pretty much every single one of them. So if we say, Colin, this is what we're looking to do, this is the problem that we're facing, can you say something to the other township
I
solicitors?
think at this point we need to.
Yeah, there is no other avenue on this, because like even the 60% is just wildly absurd. Like crazy.
I mean, I just talked to one or two of the guys, like first for EMA, because of the different banding, the tri-bands and stuff like that, the other guys are saying, this is what we need, because we are contacting other counties.
Mm.
The base price is, at the discounted price, is $6,023
Yeah,
for my replacement.
yeah.
Because which being with different counties, and whatnot, the interoperability
It's
is,
still pretty wild, but I know that's a far cry from 15 per radio. So
and that's where it's like, what I'm looking at. Like, I gotta send this in, because I don't want to miss that one opportunity that, as opposed to a $12,000 or $13,000 radio, to say, I have one radio, if we have to replace this next year to do.
Yeah.
That I say, okay, I'll replace 100% of my radios, which is still $6,000.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's tentatively would be in the budget, but
the reality
this is
is
just stupid.
we got to figure out how to make this work. But the bigger slice, like the fire company,
Yes.
there is not a way to make that work. That's something that we got to fight to.
There is, the county is offering a kind of an in-house financing.
But still, they're loaning you money. It's the same thing that we've crossed with.
They would be loaning you money.
Yeah, okay, so, yeah.
They would not lose.
Yeah, so
So
regardless,
It is going to have to be
Yeah.
channeled
yeah,
through you guys.
yeah. But
Either way,
it's the same thing as the sewer. It's like, oh yeah, there's funding there. There's a lot of loans. It's like, okay, so we have the millstone around our neck of every month for the next 20 years. We have $500 or $1,000 coming out as a loan payment. For us with a small township, that's a
And
death
just
knell.
looking at 180,000 7 years without
Without any
figuring out
sort of
the percentage,
interest.
Still 25 grand plus.
Yeah, I mean,
But there's some people kind of, we'll just apply for a grant. That's not the point
that's
of
not
this to me.
guaranteed
No,
either.
this is
This
too
is
much.
not the
Yeah.
point of this.
This is gouging,
Yeah.
and I'm not for it, and I say
Yeah.
we fight them.
Ideologically, I don't like it, and from the dollars and cents standpoint, it just doesn't work.
We're getting price gouged on
Yeah, you
everything
get
else. We
email
got so
that
much
has
to
your
do,
amount
and they're
you
gonna
need
pull
to
this. No, fight them.
so then
Fight 'em.
Amount.
Amount,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
cost, amount.
I mean, like
cost.
honestly, afterwards, if there's like a unofficial, shall we say, executive session that I and maybe Steve could be at,
Well,
there's some other stuff I can give you.
next week, be there, because we are allowed to have other people in the executive session as it
Okay.
warrants.
You can be there. Yeah,
You try to keep it closed circle, which is why, like, sometimes Lisa's there, sometimes Lisa isn't there. But
There's so much shady stuff going on.
yeah, so let's keep that off the permanent record,
Yes. Thank you.
but
Do we know what Lehigh, Montgomery, Bucks, the other counties, or they all?
Delaware County just dumped their home Motorola system, went to Kenwood because of the cost.
Okay.
Lebanon is about to roll out here. We've been told for the last 2 years, but it's finally this summer. Their entire new radio system's coming out. Every firefighter's gonna have a radio, stuff like this. And with every firefighter getting a radio, new towers built in the county, the numbers I was given, it's still half the price just for the portables that Berks County wants to do. This does not make sense. And I think when I give you other information, it will kind of make sense, but one of those, I don't want that stuff on the record, just if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So again, just because I think we've beaten this point, we got to talk to Colin. And we're obviously not going to go quietly into the night, letting you guys get railroaded by $150,000 to $350,000. So.
Good.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Thank you, John. Anything else for you?
Just a couple things.
I
on-
think that covers the bullet points.
Yes.
So if there's anything else, we'll talk about it.
Thanks.
We'll see you next week. Take care.
Okay, the first thing was radio. The CPR.
Yeah.
Find a new instructor, leave it at that.
way.
It's communications. But it's, I love him, but I can't get him to return a phone call at this point. We did have, in the last month, we did have one deployment as EMA to a very unfortunate incident was, Richmond Township overburdened for the chief and assistant chief, fire chiefs were killed.
I'd like to send condolence cards if we can.
We were just called over to basically take over the search and rescue part of it. So the guys that were doing the search and rescue from those departments could take care of the chief fatalities. And honestly, we really didn't do much other than stand around and eat hoagies. Because we actually found the person about 20 minutes after I got there, which I'm not taking any credit for.
Yeah.
The training, that class that I had mentioned, that you said to put a letter in for
Mhm.
food.
Yeah.
I didn't need, because I did have one of the fire reclamation places offered to pick it up and then canceled on me Thursday. So I'm working on that.
Yeah.
But we did have, I'm just gonna give them credit. We had 19 for the class, 8 of which were from Marion Fire Company.
Nice. Very nice.
So it's in there, was rail car incident response for crude ethanol and other flammable liquids. And again, people are like, why? Marion doesn't have a railroad. Well,
Close
we're
enough.
Responding on the first alarm assignment.
So we're close enough that it counts.
Trailer lettering, which you already mentioned. And for the supervisors and everybody, you'll see an email in the next week, hopefully, just to confirm contact information. So I want to get this the notification and resource manual done for the township so I can update my EOP for county.
Sure.
And have all that stuff in there. Business contacts, churches, evacuation, all that kind of stuff. So if you see the email and that part, the EOP is out to the public. But the NARM is not a public document because of the contact numbers, emails and stuff like that. So whatever you send me, stays within the group. And Title 35, which we're operating under, is under review. I'm actually on the committee with KEMA, Keystone Emergency Management Association, that at the state level, they are working on things, changing some stuff. Because again, why are we not supported from the state? Why we don't have funding for a mandate? That is what some of the stuff that the group has put in for. And as far as merger, I'm holding off because if it was anything like the mergers with the fire departments, if funding is available, if we are merged, we can do it only as the one entity. If I'm still separate as Marion and Mill Creek, I can basically put in for both of those and still merge it after the fact, but I'm still two separate agencies at this point. That's why I never put it in as one name, shall we say. Again, I want to try to get everything we can. So that's the update on that. And maybe by next Thursday, I'll have dates for you for the CPR and stop the bleed stuff, because I'm taking the summer off from school. I'm not doing my Millersville stuff this summer. I just have to try to catch up on stuff, and that's one of the big things. I want to get these classes going. This week, I got to finish a research paper by Saturday, so. Good.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Okay, I'm gonna try and blow through a bunch of this because we're not even into agenda items and it's already 8:20. Snow emergency signs, some of them are in bad condition. Carl, get a quote for that and we'll prove that if you have it, then whatever the next meeting is. The plow truck, the 550, is currently out of service. There's a crack in the transmission housing. Because
Any idea when we'll see that back?
the truck.
550?
Yeah.
Ooh,
We're focusing on looking at other trucks now.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, transmission prices anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 for a transmission. We're not equipped to
Yeah,
do
we
that.
have to
Sure.
get somebody
So we
else
have
to do
pay
it.
somebody to do it. So I would estimate
Easily double.
$8,000 maybe. I don't know. I don't quote me on that. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I had transmission work done on my one car not too long ago, and it was about $7,500. So
Last two I did, I pulled out in my driveway and it wasn't fun.
yeah, the one I had was too big for me to try to do it, so I just
We don't even have anything to lift this up high
Yeah.
enough to get the transmission.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to do it over there. Next.
Next, potholes. We've used 4 tons of cold patch so far. Wintersville, Stouchburg, and Sheridan roads. Based on what we've got going on with the trucks, that may be slightly paused for the time being, but there's no time like the cold patch, and there's no shortage of potholes. Secretary, nothing new on office supplies. We will have the John Deere backhoe paid off November 2026 from what you saw, so that'll be good. That'll be one less thing that we have coming out of the annual budget. You have here for program for converting files. What are you trying to convert?
When we were doing the website thing, there was certain things they were in
Yeah.
that said Adobe Reader is required for converting files and putting like pictures and all this stuff in.
Oh, were you trying to edit PDFs? Before I leave, show me, because Adobe's a pain in the ass to work with.
We don't have it.
You have a reader on there, but you don't have standard. You have the freebie one on there.
Yeah, it's not working.
Well, I'll look at it before I leave. Sign out front. Residents are having issues finding the office. Looking for a big sign out front. We still have the flapping arm inflatable tube man. We have the tea room sign still, right?
Yes,
Okay.
the sign's still out there,
Okay. Let's
because I think we're probably at least a year gonna still be here.
probably, I would say take
not
the
more.
measurements, or Carl, if you can help get the measurements for that tea room sign, call like Horst or somebody and ask them how much would it be to do simple lettering, Marion Township, and then if I give them the graphic of the turtle.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, just there it is, and then we can have that hung outside.
Oh, and people want 4023 on the door, so I think I have letters, numbers back there
Yeah.
that I can stick on there.
Yeah.
Don knows that.
Newsletter got mailed out. There was a couple of incorrect dates for the yard show or yard sale, craft show, fire company open house, etc. June 6th is the correct date.
Mhm.
Based on the cost that is associated with the mailers, spread the word. Let everybody know.
And MCC is sending their letter out.
Okay, perfect.
And
So,
there's also a June 6th flyer that's being made.
okay, perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say, spread the word.
The flyer that I copied for you?
The June 6th flyer was sent. Did have that with the notes.
Okay, I'll have to look at the minute.
So we're closing the gap on that, which is good. Feral cats, spring kitten season is here.
Yeah, I'm getting people calling about that too.
We've got the TNR thing, so don't forget that that's available. Dog ordinances,
So a lady
Um,
called and said, because we have the leash,
Yeah.
that the dogs have to be in a leash.
Yeah.
What if she has an electric fence?
it's in
Is
her
that-
yard, that's considered a fence.
She just wanted to make sure,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll,
Double check with Kraft, but that's, to me, that's a fence.
okay.
If
As
not,
long
there's
as
a
they're
lot of
under
really
control
upset
on their
people.
property.
Yeah. Yeah, I would personally, the ruling on the field would be electric fences are considered fences.
Okay.
Um,
Just verifying for her.
nice. The zoning probably won't.
Tasting.
Yeah.
It's one of those, you don't see it, you know?
Yeah, it's buried under the ground, and then if the
Yeah.
collar crosses over it, it zaps or buzzes or
I
beeps
guess
or
she
whatever.
just wanted to know, because she knows that there's some dogs that would blow right through
Oh,
it.
yeah, I mean, then you don't have control of your
dogs
dog.
don't go-
Yeah. Oh, some do. I've seen.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
Dogs blow
Yeah.
through it?
yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Some of them, it stops. I was gonna say, once some of them realize that I just deal with the pain a little bit, I can run
get this
free.
guy, yeah.
I can run free. Okay, Tulpe PD will have some discussion at the next meeting along with the EMS related items. Maintenance on the current building, we've
I think
already
we already
already
do that
covered
for
that.
an hour.
Dates. Trade-ins for the boom mower and the John Deere tractor mowers. Carl's gonna be looking at suggestions for that. We already covered playground maintenance and
He did
equipment.
say we have to keep some of the mowers because of mowing
Because
four
of
nineteen.
19, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to get rid of all the mowers. My personal thought on this is we sell the stuff that we're not using. And then, for example, like the Batwing or whatever it is for the adjustable mower, if there's something that we can get that fits onto one of the other pieces of equipment that we're saving, we use the money from selling the stuff that we're not to buy the stuff that we need that we are gonna use. So as much of a one-to-one as we can get is preferred, but that's where, yes. I think these guys agree with me on that it makes more sense to have one thing that we will use rather than three things we don't.
Not mowing the right place. So,
Mm.
we
No,
talked about it last year.
That's correct.
no.
Yep.
Okay.
And anybody that gives any
Right of ways.
assistance on that,
People's personal property that happens to be in the right of way. I'm not a fan of that.
anybody that gives any pushback on that, Kraft should be called.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I ain't gonna tolerate it this year, bad mouthing the township.
Yeah.
For not mowing their private land.
Yeah.
But does he still have to do, Main
Yeah.
Street down at 422,
It has to do the section 422 that we contract with the state. That's,
right down here
Yeah.
at the landing zone? You call it the landing?
Yeah, I do.
no? Isn't that like on the tail end of it?
Yeah,
Christmas Village.
yeah, that's the most.
Yeah, if that's private property, don't mow it.
Yeah, do only what we're contracted to do.
Yeah, oh, well, and that,
Is that
anything,
private property?
I think that was the biggest question. Everybody kept on
well,
asking about that.
every time it comes up, we always get the answer that it's
That diamond
PennDOT.
at the end.
And then when we ask PennDOT, they tell it's us. So, well,
Let
I
me
would say
see
check
what
with
Onyx-
Colin.
Let me see what Onyx says.
Yeah, yeah, so check the
I
hunting
like
app.
Onyx.
That grass in front of the billboard. Why are you doing that?
Just for the sight distance when you pull up the stop sign.
Yeah, that's just a safety thing. It would be nice if they mowed it,
On the other
but.
side, we might as well do that.
All right,
Yeah.
so Onyx doesn't know whose it is.
So
PA municipality,
it's the state.
Yeah.
Okay,
because ours comes up as,
yeah, Marion.
if we go up, it comes up as Marion Township
Yeah.
property,
Yeah.
where's our-
Yeah, I know from prior things that it
That's
shows up
states.
as, yeah.
Thanks. Nope.
Yeah.
States.
We're gonna skip future planning, because I think we've talked about that a lot. Trash ordinances, there's 170 residents with outstanding bills.
That was
What?
November. That was in
170.
November.
Okay, so as of March, there's 40 people.
Yeah, so it
Um,
We
did,
have
So
an
it's
updated
a
list
lot.
on that yet?
That's a lot less, but that 170 figure is,
yeah, that was back in November, 170. Now it's down to
Do we
like
have an
40.
updated list though?
He didn't get me one yet, but
Okay.
it's only about 40 people now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that 170, there was like half of that.
that was just
there was
nuts. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, we'll work on closing the gap eventually, and I think the best thing to do on this, and people are probably gonna string me up, is the next trash contract we get, we put the trash bill on the tax bill.
Yes.
And we remove billing out of it entirely. You
Yeah.
pay your taxes, it's done. So,
Do we wanna go for multiple bids as well?
oh yeah, no, so what we do is every time we put this out, you put it out for open bid. No restrictions,
Yep.
open bid, here's the bid packet. What happened last time is only one company bid on it, it was JP Mascaro. So by the definition of the law, they are the lowest bidder because they were the only bidder.
And your fearless
They
leaders
also
don't
said when
crawl.
it's time to bid out,
Yes.
talk to them about
Yes.
what language you should.
Yes,
bid
and that is before the end of the year,
They
we're
still
gonna be
wanna
meeting
bid
with
with us.
Mascaro about that, because the big thing that he highlighted was, he was like, there was some language about bulk items. And
Yeah.
the biggest piece of that
Just make
was
sure
the
it's their
billing.
meeting
It was like
before,
very
sure.
plainly,
Yeah.
we're a trash company, we're not a billing
And
company,
you
we don't
can
want any
lower
part of
your-
this.
That might be a
Your
little.
citizen age from
Yeah.
65 to 60.
Yes, yeah, and that's 100% stuff we're gonna talk about, but the big one is the billing. The billing is a huge component of that cost. So. Road maintenance, actually, excuse me, committee for the building. We already talked about that with the historical items, and that's the next thing that they need to focus on. Road maintenance, Carl is working on getting the cycle in place for the 5-year maintenance plan, as well as the 2026 projects. Looking like Canal Road patching is gonna be about 28,000 as a rough estimate. Stoutsburg patch and double chip is gonna be 170,000. School from Catterman Hill to Smaltz patch and double chip seal is gonna be about 120,000. And Wintersville patch will be about 2,850.
Yeah, change that up.
A little bit, okay. You have the updated for Thursday night then?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Should have it by Monday.
Well,
So you
what
lied
changed
to
on
me?
that? Did you push Canal off because the
Ryan
low?
recommended that we try to do all the patching this year. and
Yeah.
do the chip seal to next year, so we
Okay.
pulled stuff
Stuff
from next
forward.
year's schedule back here to this year to do patching. And moved our chip seal from this year to next year. to
Okay.
do all the chip seal.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, as long as we have it for Thursday night, then we can talk about it and potentially
Well,
ideally get it out for bid like immediately.
I'm
So,
hoping to have it tomorrow
okay,
or Monday.
okay. You're off tomorrow.
This is over.
We'll be first off.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Carl. Okay, road issues. Forge Road, 60-inch corrugated steel pipe culvert thrusted through on the east side. We're looking for a dirt and low volume gravel road grant for that. Wintersville Road, also has a 24-inch steel culvert that's partially collapsed and sinkholes forming. We're also pursuing a dirt and gravel low volume road grant for that. Church Road, there's a 24-inch concrete pipe, culvert. Head walls, they're starting to separate from the pipe. That's something that's gonna be 2027, 2028 for, dirt and low volume gravel road grants. School Road at Smaltz, there's cracking on the new paved road. We need to reach out and have them look at that, because that might
Now,
be.
what did they?
They did look at
Are they gonna fix it?
it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be happy, am I?
It's probably gonna be an executive session.
Okay. Yay, add that to the list, Lisa. Okay, School Road at Marion, the newly installed pipe is settling. That also is probably, I'd imagine, since I'm behind on that, that's gonna be another executive session thing. Okay, add it to the list, Lisa. Goddamn. Spur Road, complaint on truck speeding on road.
Executive session night?
We're just gonna, yeah, we're pretty much gonna have to have,
You guys know where Spur Road is?
I do know where Spur Road is.
It's only, you know, we had there's,
did.
it's, about 500 feet of Spur Road is ours.
Yeah.
It's on a bend, it's a stone road.
Yeah, and say it's
Somebody's
compacted
doing
gravel.
80 miles an hour on it.
That's impressive. The grade on that hill,
Wow.
like,
I had a
This is what the complaint
complaint,
yeah.
so I have to bring it up.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
wanted me to
that's-
ask.
They wanted no truck signs, weight limits,
Well,
and speed limit signs.
no trucks and weight limits require a traffic study. And the speed limit sign, I think we could put a speed limit sign in there without having, we'd have to do an ordinance to place the sign. But that's easy. But I don't know how you could physically go that fast on that
You
road.
could start at Tupper Hawkins sign
Oh, yeah, before you hit the
and mash
gradient.
it.
Yeah,
And never get up.
no, not to mention if you,
You ramp it off the side of the road.
I was gonna say, I was there when they did that project. You would, at any sort of speed, if you hit that hill, like your car is gonna be destroyed. The suspension is going to be
Well, this
gone.
is not a car, it's supposedly a tractor
Well,
trailer.
that's even,
Tractor trailer getting up to.
yeah, no. So, I would say, let's look into it, do our due diligence, but I think that is maybe wildly embellished.
We could put the mobile speed sign.
Yeah, let's do that. At least, yeah, I think we're gonna get a whole lot of nothing,
You
because that
put
is,
an ordinance in for that or?
no, it's permanent sign, permanent sign placement.
That would be our luck.
No,
What's
that would
that?
be our luck. We actually get somebody doing 80 on the speed
That's what
sign.
I'm
It's
saying.
like,
Your luck.
I mean, that would be, I would want to camp out there with a camera, because that would be,
Yeah,
that
it'd
would be
seeing
worth
the
seeing.
picture, yeah.
That would be worth seeing.
Well, that's the complaint I got.
Yeah, no, noted, thank you. Blue Spruce, nothing new on that. Same thing with the 85 Main Twilight Acres,
Nothing
Alvin on
new on
6,
any of the
nothing.
projects.
Martin's Church.
Just, Martin's Church, guy contacted me and I referred, Brian with him and he communicated.
Like she said, nothing new on the projects, new business, office equipment. For now that we have my card back in my wallet, I'm gonna order the replacement camera on Amazon. It's like $99, like we had discussed before. It's already been approved. But that I won't do it?
Yeah.
I'll do it tonight, just to prove you wrong. Don't underestimate my level of spite, Denny. Pole building. Yep. Pole building, this says it's placed on hold potentially for the LSA grant.
Kimberly said we need to look into that.
Yeah, so I would say, let's, again, we don't want to invalidate any grant requests, so let's,
I've been, it's like literally trying to pull teeth
Oh,
out
yeah.
of a full-size crocodile.
Oh,
to try
dude.
to get a quote.
you don't have to tell me. When we did the soffits and stuff on the building, I had to call so many people and I got like 3 calls back. It was obscene. It's like,
Either they-
I want to give you
Yeah,
money.
well,
Call
either
me
they-
back.
They don't want to bid because they know you're gonna go with the cheapest.
Yeah,
Or they don't want to work with the municipality because of prevailing wage. or-
yeah. Yeah, there's a number of things that work against it, but it is sort of appalling.
It's-
Come on.
Yeah.
I want to give you money. You give me stuff.
According to Horse, though, there's an avenue they can do it without going to the bid process, but
If it's
they,
co-stars.
right,
Yeah.
but they need to give us the information. on it.
Yes.
And I've been pushing them. I went, this is my 4th follow-up with them.
Yeah.
But they said, 3 months?
Yeah.
But we're at like 4 now. We were in winter jackets that day.
Yeah, it was cold.
It was cold.
If I have time tomorrow, Abby, I will call I remember the name. It's like Top Flight or something. It sounds like golf, but the company that does the licensing stuff.
Are those
I
people
just-
that you went
Yeah.
on our email in that time?
Yeah, it's the same group of people. We just got to tell them that we want another license, and they'll add it to our thing and add it to them.
Did you see me shoot that next cheap, whatever that,
Name cheap.
Yeah.
That's the main. Yeah,
that was gonna be
Yeah.
going through?
yeah. That's up for renewal. We have that set to automatic renew. Mowing grass.
We did discuss that already.
Yeah, we're still mowing Main Street 422.
No, we're not.
Not Main Street, excuse me. We're doing 419, 422, the state contracts, and that's it.
The 419.
Christmas village.
Thank you. I thought it was 422, but either way, whatever's in the state contract is what we're sticking to.
Yeah.
Private property, people have to mow their own stuff just like everybody else.
Yep.
Treasurer Katie from Live Edge Booking will be contracted to do the QuickBooks and the entry and exit level work for that. The township does need a treasurer, which I would suggest that Lisa takes the mantle of treasurer and Katie technically is the assistant treasurer. That way Lisa can do any of the things that Katie does not do or is not comfortable doing as access to the township finances. We will need to bond everybody. Lisa's already bonded. She's already a signer on the bank account, so we just need to get Katie bonded. Did you reach out to the bond company about?
He doesn't need to be bonded per Colin because she's not gonna be handling the money.
Oh, perfect. That makes,
Yeah.
that's even easier then.
So as long as
If you don't
she,
come up,
we-
we put on the agenda.
Yeah,
next
for Thursday
regular-
night, we just have to make a
as long as
motion.
she does not have access to the bank account,
Yeah.
she does not need to be
So
bonded.
the only thing we have to do Thursday night is officially make you the treasurer and make her the assistant treasurer.
Yeah,
That's it.
and I do need her to, Colin said that, was it 90,000, I think?
Yeah, it's 900,000.
Yeah, 900,000, and, he said it should be whatever the
Yeah,
township.
which I think is about 1.1 million. It might be slightly more for the bond,
Yeah,
but
so
talk to the bond company about
that
that.
would, I just have to
Yeah,
increase
Yeah, just
mine.
increase your bond slightly.
So,
The auditor, we need to review and sign the SEK engagement letter.
I emailed that to everybody.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know if everybody got a chance.
I didn't get a
to-
chance to read it yet, but I did see the email come in. do that and have that ready for Thursday night.
Yeah, we do, because
We have to do it
they
Thursday night.
can't set anything up until you guys.
We have to acknowledge the engagement letter. Street sweeping, this will be May 13th on Main Street, Water Street, Tulpe View, Idris, and Richland.
That's what Mr. Street Sweeper
Yep.
is gonna do.
And you're, okay, I mean, if we're borrowing the thing,
It doesn't cost us nothing.
Yeah, go nuts.
Fuels.
yeah. Business cards, I'm all for getting business cards.
I think we
There's some-
approved it, we
Yeah.
get them, but
I'll make you a design on that,
Yeah.
but before we print business cards, if we're gonna talk cell phones for people, we should get the cell phone so that the cell phone number is listed on the business card, because I don't wanna print a whole bunch of business cards and then
Yeah.
not have the cell phone number listed. So
Right.
let me,
does everybody
Fill in
have
your
the
own
cell phone stuff from the last month that they
Yeah.
can put together with today's and look at all of it?
so
Do I
Just-
need to resend
just
everything?
from looking through this, other than Boost, which has a slight intro thing, Verizon looks like the best deal. What I will say is I, through work, have very frequent dealings with Verizon. Some of the Verizon business reps. We'll talk to them and see if there's anything that they would be able to do for us above and beyond this. But I would say,
See, I have Verizon
Yeah.
and it was to add that line, remember when we were,
yeah,
it was $10 a month.
yeah. Yeah,
Add
so
that
that's
extra
what I
line
want to
to
see,
my
if it's
plan.
$20 for the first line and $10 a month for each one, rather than $20 for each line. Like, I want to see if there's anything they can do for us
Okay.
on that. Beyond that, I would think Carl should definitely have a cell phone. EMA, you got one?
You guys are okay if I
Um,
just use my own?
Yeah, that's fine. If you're comfortable with using you want a number on your personal phone, or do you want to
Yeah,
use
right.
your personal phone? Okay.
I mean, like my own phone line.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. So it would just be effectively, if we go to do this, be supervisors and potentially the secretary. The only reason I say that is I don't necessarily want to put my personal number that extensively.
Yeah. I agree.
My number being out and my phone's been, being
So I would say look that over. I'll talk to the rep. I'll talk to the AT&T rep here that we have, see if they can do us any special deals for the township that they have in their box of tricks, because it's
Want me to
business
send you
side.
the first net guy?
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
given,
First phones were not-
yeah. Well, that's what it is. Like, I obviously have a little bit more economy of scale at work because of being thousands of phones in our plans, but we get phones for 99 cents too. And then it's just whatever the cost is early termination fee if you were to cancel within 24 months and you owe me. But look this over. I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to, again, at least once a week. I talk to the reps.
the first net one was last month, so that would be in last month's packet, but I can send it to you again.
Wallinger Road, nothing new on that. We're not going to discuss that openly because of potential for litigation. That concludes our agenda. So on that note, Kelly,
Just want to say, one detail, this Saturday has been canceled due to the weather.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
I can put a message.
Yeah,
in.
put something
Gonna
up.
annoy you.
No.
really
That's,
quickly.
yeah.
But when you're discussing the tennis court grant.
Yeah.
I would suggest also discussing the swing set,
Yes.
because DCNR, if we're gonna try asking to cover the rest of the tennis court or what have you,
It's going to make it
That
more
is-
attractive for them to fund it.
potentially, yes, and it just depends how much you're willing to spend. So it'll be really good to know what the tennis association would theoretically put toward it.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss which swing configuration and what thing you would want to present at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's a full playground as far as.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. I don't have any comments, Jesse.
And then Carl and Don, you guys are gonna get together.
Yeah, we talked about it.
He did.
It's busy.
We didn't know what kind of, what white color we had on.
I got white.
Explaining
paint.
what
We
white
can
state-
paint whatever paint we put in there. It's not a big deal. I talked about maybe putting it behind the monument. He said that might interfere with the baseball. So maybe put it beside. I mean, that's fine. Yes.
Wherever it doesn't interfere with the baseball,
Yeah.
and you guys are happy with it, I'm happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I trust in your judgment.
Don't put it on the middle of the pitcher's mound or anything like
Yeah.
that, or. So,
Make it first base.
you put it on first base.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe on the west side of the stone.
Sure.
Yeah.
That way you're further away from baseball. I don't know.
Doesn't matter to me.
And then are we gonna move the bleachers or are we not moving those bleachers anymore? The two that Lee Dice said are his.
We don't have to.
Yeah,
You want me to move? Put 'em
I
back?
don't know. That came up when I went to the hot dog stand and we were talking. Some of the people were standing.
But last year they wanted them there.
We did have other years, we did have the movable bleachers
Yeah.
down at the basement.
Yeah.
I don't know when
We moved
I mean,
down
soccer
there.
is going to be taking over.
Yeah.
You could always use those movable bleachers for soccer.
Right. And then same thing with if they're starting eventually start to play tennis.
I would say
Now,
don't touch it until anybody makes a.
I remember them being bent. I don't know if we repaired them or
No,
not.
yeah, I've been back.
You got it back. And are those the MTCAs or are they Lee Dices or are they
They are MPCAs.
the MTCAs?
Yeah, last year, I think I've been them all. Sure.
We're
The mobile
donating.
bleachers that are up at tennis courts.
You may need to remind Lee about that then.
Because I picked him up the one year and placed him down with my forks on my
Yeah.
track before we had a track.
Yeah.
What's that? Was it?
No, they were bent already, unfortunately. Thanks, Dennis.
Poor Dennis.
Now.
He's up tonight. Comments,
None.
comments, comments,
Ready to go home.
comments.
Good
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Say, second.
Motion made by Peter, second by Jesse. Roll call, Peter.
Aye.
Jesse.
Aye.
Jenny.
Okay, meeting's adjourned, 8:47.
Went to look at this one
Yeah, you're the
today.
Stone Throw Pizza Man.
I know it's not a dump truck.
Yeah.
But